This is a short video commentary on Martial 1.40. It's an interesting epigram because the manuscript tradition contains a variant that just might be worth substituting for the reading that is normally given in our texts. We can substitute this odd attestation, or we can interpret duco to have a fairly rare meaning. Either way, it gives us a clue as to the lifespan of a certain idiom. Let's take a brief look at the grammar and then get into the variant. The first line is a relative clause, and to make sense of it, you need to understand some sort of subject, like this. Olibidus qui ducis vultus et non legis ista libenter. This translates literally to something like, O jealous one, who leads his face and does not read these words gladly. The second line is pretty straightforward. May you envy everyone, jealous man, and may no one envy you. The interpretation of this epigram is pretty clear. In various places in Book 1, Martial addresses people who steal his work, take credit for it, misinterpret it, or otherwise show their envy of him. This poem is a taunt to anyone who perpetrates such evil. The interesting part about this epigram is that, on a first reading, the first line doesn't make much sense. O you who leads your face? What does that even mean? It turns out that duco has a weird meaning, attested in Cicero and Quintilian. To ducis one's os, or to lead one's face, apparently means to make a wry face. That does indeed fit our epigram. The jealous reader of Martial's imagination is making a wry, sarcastic, or unpleasant face. However, we have a variant in some of our sources where ducas gets substituted for the metrically equivalent rugas, or to wrinkle. The verb rugo is quite rare, and according to Persius, occurs less than 50 times in the entire corpus of classical works. That said, at least to a native English speaker, to wrinkle one's brow makes much more sense than to lead one's face. Do you think the substitution is worth making? How should we decide? There's a rule that's often used by biblical scholars, and it goes by the name of Bengals Rule. This rule says that, given two readings, we should prefer the stranger one. If we have a strange idiom or difficult reading, more sensible words are likely to have been inserted by the scribe who was copying the manuscript. So if we do have two readings, one strange, one not, we should prefer the strange one, since the only reason why the odd reading exists is its authenticity. When I first did this commentary, I missed the applicable definition of duco, to make a wry face, and I thought that rugas was the best reading. Now, on balance, I think that we have to accept ducis in accordance with Bengals Rule. All that said, the existence of the variant gives us an interesting glimpse into how idioms change over time. At one point in the history of the world, leading your face was perfectly understandable as making a wry face. If we can date the manuscript, where the scribe substituted rugas, then compare this date with the last time a scribe copied ducis, we can know approximately when leading your face was no longer understandable as wrinkling your brow. Interesting. So, in essence, this variant gives us a window to see the life of an idiom. We can see it live in the classical period, and we can see it die whenever the scribe copied rugas. Fascinating. Thanks for watching.